Da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da-dum. What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! Back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out Tahiti from Minion Games. This is for 2 to 4 players, ages 13 plus, and it'll take you about an hour to play. And in Tahiti, you are going to be taking control of a guy on a canoe, paddling around an island as you build the island, trying to collect different kinds of goods. These goods are going to give you points at the end of the game. You can try and get a whole bunch of the same type of goods and focus on goods that you particularly like, or you can try and diversify your portfolio. You can go fishing or do a bunch of various different things in this light pick up and deliver game. But is it good? Let's open it up and I'll tell you. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what's going to get inside of Tahiti for Minion Games. First and foremost, we have our handy dandy rule booklet. It is 8 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples, all the stuff you love to see in a well-done rule booklet. And this one is this is a fantastic rule booklet. Big thumbs up on that. So in Tahiti, you're going to be taking control of your canoe and you're going to be going around an island. But you're also going to be building this island as you go. You're going to be putting different goods on the island. You're going to have your little score tracker right here, which will keep track of a bunch of different things. And then eventually, once you've completely run out of ways to expand your island, you're going to slowly start shutting down your island with these tokens over here. And we'll show you how all this stuff works in a second. So let's go over the components, then we'll get a little bit into the gameplay. So first and foremost, you're going to have this nice cloth bag, which they didn't need to include, but it really is super nice. Very well made bag, and it's going to be filled with little cubes in it that are coming in various different colors. Now these colors, wow, I actually do perfect ones, are going to represent different things, which might be bananas, coconuts, fish, taro, or spice. So those are what all those cubes are going to be. Also, you're going to have a bunch of these tiles. These tiles are going to have various things on them. So this tile, for instance, is going to have coconut. It's going to have spice on it. Now you might also notice that there's a reef right there. Those reef are bad. If you go over them, you could potentially drop some of your goods into the ocean. We'll go over how that works in a second. Next, you're going to have one of these tokens. Depending on if you're playing a 2, 3, or 4-player game, you'll get various different ones of these. And these are just going to say, these are the goods that you really want to focus on. These are the ones that the people of your island really like. And if you have the most of these at the end of the game, you're going to get a bonus. Or second place, actually, you will get a bonus for having the most of those. So each player is going to get one of those. That is going to be held secret. So those will be different ways you can score points at the end of the game. You're also going to have these 2 tiles right here. This is a start player tile because, well, it says start player on it. And this is going to be a turn sequence tile, which is just going to help you out when you need it. But that being said, all that stuff is also listed right here, which is very useful on your nice little score pad. Last thing is going to be this lady who is the god of the ocean or made of something. I don't know. She's going to be moving around the board, and this is how you're going to place tiles. So let's just go ahead and I'll show you a mock turn and you can see exactly how everything is going to work. So on your turn, we'll take a look at our handy dandy little thing and you'll see exactly what you do. So the first thing you do is that you are going to place an island. That means that you're going to move this lady 1 spot if you'd like to. And you're going to move her 1 spot as long as you are not on the outside space. So as you can see, we're not on the outside space, so we'll move her 1 space. Then we can place an island. Right now we have 2 choices right here. And we'll go ahead and we'll place this one right here. So bada boom, we are good with that. Next, you are going to seed the island, which means you're going to reach into this bag and you're going to draw out 3 cubes. Now later in the game, you'll only draw out 2 cubes and you will seed the island. So right now, we could potentially seed only this island because all the other islands are seeded, which means they have goods on them. So we can put the brown right there and we put the rest of these back into our nice little bag right here. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to take actions. Now your actions are going to be however many of these circles you have here that are not covered up. That's very, very important. You will always have 1 action because you can't cover that up right there. And you're going to be loading goods onto your boat. So let's go ahead and I'll go through mock turn. Now the actions you can take, and it's very simple. First thing you can do is you can paddle your canoe. So let's go ahead and paddle our canoe and we'll just pretend we're blue. And we'll say, let's see what we got down here. I really want to focus on green and yellow, so maybe I'll go down here and get this brown and yellow. So I'll go with 1. So that would be my first action. Now another action that you can take is you can harvest crops so that just means that you'll be able to pick up the crop and you'll go, bloop, I'm going to take this. Now normally you would put this on an empty spot on your canoe. And actually we'll do it on this one because I'm going to pick this up so I can show you more. So we might pick up that yellow right here. And then we might pick up this brown right here. So that would be through an extra action. So we'd have 1, 2, 3 actions. So another action you can do is you can fish. So we might say, I'm going to fish with my fourth action. Now, how does fishing work? Fishing means that you're going to randomly, you're going to reach into the bag and you're going to randomly draw out 2 cubes. If you get a white, which is a fish, you're going to keep it. So this time I did not successfully fish. So let's pretend I did it. Well, that one I didn't successfully do either. All right, there we go. So we drew 2. We get to keep 1, and now we put it onto our boat, and our turn is over. We would then close an island, which does not happen until towards the end of the game, and our turn has been done. So everyone else would do their thing. They would move around. They would move this guy around, or move the maiden around, and put out more tiles out, see different parts on the island. What we did already, so I'm not going to go too in depth to it. So now it gets back to my turn. So I only have 3 actions this turn because I've covered up one of those actions. So I now have a choice. I cannot go fishing anymore because the rule is that you can only have 1 of a color on there. So I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 of a color on there, or you can have 1 of each different color. So you could have yellow, brown, white, green, and pink. So you can have 1 of each color, or you can have 1 of all the same color, but you can never, so I could never have another yellow, another white, or another brown. So that leaves me with limited options. So my options are now that most likely I want to do the last option, which is to deliver crops, which means you're going to go back to this middle part right here and then deliver your crops. So I have 2 choices. I can either go around, which would be the safe way, which would cost me an extra action, or I can go over this reef right here. And how the reef works is, if you go over 1 reef, what you're going to do is you're going to reach into the bag and you're going to draw out 1 cube. So I would draw out a cube, and oh no, I drew a brown cube. This is bad, because that means I've now dropped this cube. So that stinks. Both these go back to the bag, and unfortunately, my good is now gone. So I only have 2 goods. So I did successfully move those, so I do 1, and then I would drop off my goods. Now my goods are going to go onto this board right here. This is a good time to show you how scoring works. So essentially, what's going on here is I would have 1 yellow here, and I would have 1 white here. So you look at the empty space to the right. So right now at the end of the game, I would have 1 point and I would have -2 points. So I'd be at -1 point. So not doing too well now. But I also could potentially have 2 cubes closer to getting these bonuses right here. So how this works is, if you have this entire row filled down, you're going to get 1 point. Now you get 3 points. Now you have 5 points, 7 points, 9 points, 11 points. So if you try and diversify your portfolio, you can do it like that and gain points. But as you can see, also, the more you collect of a particular type of good, you're going to collect more points going that way. Now, you might also know that you really need to fish. If you don't fish at all, you're going to have -4 points at the end of the game, which is a really big deal, because normally, like a 3-player game, you're going to score between 15 and 20 points, 25 maybe if you're really good or something like that. So you really want to focus on doing the fishing. Now, you might also notice these numbers up here. What does that mean? Well, that's at the end of the game with this secret thing right here. So as I mentioned, I'm going to really be trying to collect green and yellow tokens. If I have the most green and yellow tokens, I'm going to get 5 points. If I have second place, I'm going to get 3 points. If I'm in third, I get 0. Fourth, you obviously get 0 as well. So those are going to be the only ways you're going to score points. You're going to look to see if you score any points for this. You're going to tally up your numbers down here and see if you have any synergy bonuses. Now let's get towards the tail end of the game. Let's just say we have all these islands set up and we're just we're coming at the end of the game, and you can finally see what happens then. So I know we don't have everything set up, but we're just going to pretend. We're going to take this off. These are now gone. And what's going to happen is you're going to do all your actions like normal. However, you're going to do the last option, which is to close an island, which means you're going to pick one of the islands that has no goods on it, that has not been seeded, and you're going to put one of these guys on it. Now, there are 2 symbols here. The first one is this little Stonehenge guy. That means that island is now closed off, which means that nothing can grow there anymore. That's bad. Now, there also is another one, which is the fish there. Now, nothing can grow there, but this is now a fishing island, which means when you reach in the bag to fish, instead of grabbing 2 cubes, you're going to be able to grab 3 cubes. So that's going to be a good fishing spot there. You're going to continue to do this until there are only 4 viable options left. 4 viable islands left, I should say. At which point, you are going to take all the goods that are currently in your canoe, put them onto your board. You get to keep all those, tally up your points. Whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. And that, in a nutshell, is how Tahiti is played. Alrighty then, Tahiti from Minion Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, the game is not going to be for everybody for a variety of different reasons. It's 2 to 4 players, so it's a very restrictive player count. Also, this game has very minimal player interaction. While there are some things that you can do to other people, like placing islands on the other side away from them, or potentially seeding the island in places that are not advantageous to them, there really is no take that or too much player interaction in this game. So if you like player interaction, you might want to steer clear. Also, this game is on the lighter side. I would almost say that this is Gateway-esque. If you're looking for a heavier game, this one might not be for you. And also, there's not too many choices to be made in this game. I mean, you go around, you fish, you collect goods, and then you go back. That's pretty much what you do, rinse, wash, and repeat. Now, there are some choices that you make, like, oh, do I go over this reef, or do I try and collect a bunch of goods and then go back to the island, or do I collect a few goods and then go back quicker, because that's going to give me more action so I can potentially move faster. But really, there's not too many choices to be made in the game. Any other cons I have in the game? Not really that I can think of. Moving on to the pros, I enjoy Tahiti. I think Tahiti is a really good light pick-up and deliver game that I can't highly recommend for two main groups. And that is if you're looking for a lighter game night game, or if you're looking for a gateway game, or if you're looking for a family game. Boom, that's actually three things. So what I like about the game, first and foremost, really enjoyed the artwork. The artwork just pops out. It's bright, it's vivid, the cubes are vivid. The artwork's very appealing. I like the fact that you actually have the canoe on there. It's very... they try and make the theme come across in the game. While it's not the most thematic game, obviously, it still does work. I also like how it looks, how you're adding onto the island, how you're building onto the island. That's kind of fun. And I like seeing the island, so you're trying to like formulate this plan on where you're going to put the cubes. And while it's very minimal strategy, there is definitely some strategy there, and it's enough to keep you coming back. I also like how easy it is to score the points in the game. It's very, very simple. It's got everything on the player board, and the player board is incredibly helpful. The player board, I like the graphic design. I like the graphic design on it. It's very well done. I do like just how the game works. It goes smoothly, and if everybody's paying attention, it's a very brisk game, which is another thing I like about this game. It says it takes an hour to play, and honestly, on your second, third, fourth gameplay, this game's going to be quicker than an hour, which normally does not happen. Normally, when something says an hour, it's going to be an hour, it's going to be hour 10 minutes. No, you can probably knock this out in 30, 45 minutes once you know what you're doing. So that is a big pro as well. So overall, Tahiti, if you routinely hit 2 to 4, which that's the biggest comment I have with this game, is that it is 2 to 4 players. It's very limited, and you don't mind playing a lighter pick-up and deliver game. This is definitely one I highly recommend checking out. Tahiti from Minion Games, one I like an awful lot. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, the game does scale pretty well. 2 players, 3 players, 4 players, they all play pretty well. I feel like that's probably because of the lack of player interaction, but still, it scales well, so take it for what you will. So that is Tahiti from Minion Games, one that I definitely can recommend if you're in the market for this kind of game. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below, and in the comments below, let me know what is your favorite coconut flavored anything. For me personally, I like those what is it, the ones that look like little round snowballs. Yeah, I think they're snowballs. I like the pink snowballs. Those are my favorite things with coconut in the whole wide world. They're so good. But let me know in the comments below your favorite thing with coconuts. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube. That was the review for Tahiti. For more reviews and previews, check back at Bowers Game Corner.